Hey guys, welcome back to
Bondi.
MB. So you're thinking about getting chickens. I'm sure you have a ton of questions. We are raising chickens and building a homestead on less than an acre, and our goal with this is to teach you how to start your own. We are starting a series. Hey boy. We are starting a series where we talk about the big questions like what to know, how to start, and when to start. I think I sound really confident. We're going to start a series where we discuss those things more in detail, but this video in particular is going to be about what to know when you want to get chickens or if you're thinking about getting chickens. Hi, Feet, come here. Show the camera how friendly you are. There we go. It's a good boy. Okay, so the first thing that you want to know is that there are different types of birds. There are two main types, egg layers and meat birds. When we first started, I didn't know there was a difference between egg layers and meat birds.
That's always going to trip us up, I promise.
Meat layers. I didn't know there was a difference, and he's like, I want to get meat birds. I'm like, well, what the heck's the difference? So we've kind of learned a lot over time just being immersed in it. The big difference between a meat bird and an egg layer is that meat birds are breeded specifically to grow rapidly and grow fast so that you can turn them into meat. We also have like a dual purpose that can be used for egg laying and meat birds, which all of our birds are dual purpose.
Yep. When it comes to meat layers, they usually...
Meat layers? I said that earlier.
Yeah.
I said that too.
When it comes to meat birds, they usually mature in the 8 to 12 week range, whereas egg layers mature in the 18 to 22 or 20 week range. So it takes a little bit longer to raise a dual purpose bird than it does to raise a meat bird. And then with that being said too, don't confuse Red Rangers, which is a meat bird, for Rhode Island Reds, which is a dual purpose bird, but most of the time we use Rhode Island Reds as egg layers.
Come on, it's okay. There you go. This is another Buff Orpington. They are super friendly.
Come here, buddy. Come on.
You gonna go see him? You gonna go see him?
Go see the scary pitchfork man.
Yeah, the scary pitchfork. He's really nice. He really is. He takes care of you. Something to note about meat birds too is that because they do grow really quickly, like once they get to a certain point, you really have to kill them. Because if not, they'll have a ton of health issues, and then they just get too big to where they can't really hold themselves up. There's a lot to consider once you figure out like if you want chickens for eggs or if you want chickens for meat. All of our knowledge is going to be about egg layers because that's what we have. Although we want to do meat birds, all of everything we have to give you at this point is about egg layers. Something you want to consider before you choose chickens is going to be breed. Different breeds are good in different climates. Different breeds have different temperaments and personalities. Different breeds have different colored eggs. They have a different type of egg production about them. So there are a lot of things to consider when you're thinking about birds. So I guess the question to ask yourself would be, what is my goal? Am I getting chickens just to feed my family? Am I getting chickens to sell to family and friends? All of that kind of goes into play with how many chickens you get and then the types of breeds that you choose.
That's right.
I think our personal favorite breed is the Buff Orpington. We have 5 of them in our flock. Feet was the one that just jumped on me. She's a Buff Orpington, and they have very docile temperaments about them. They're very friendly. Hi, Feet. They're very friendly. They are dual purpose, so they can be used for meat if you choose. There is so many options. It's super overwhelming to try to figure out what kind of birds to get. And I think if you are overwhelmed and you're just trying to figure it out and you just want to jump in, I just go for an Orpington. I love them so much. What are you doing, buddy? From there, you can mix breeds in your flock. So we have Buff Orpingtons, we have Rhode Island Reds, we have a Barred Rock who...
I think you should note that we raised the Rhode Island Reds and the Buff Orpingtons at the same time.
Yes.
We didn't do them at separate times. That will be important for later.
Yes. Chickens are kind of hard to integrate with each other, which is why I think we weren't able to integrate our Bougie Betty, our Barred Rock, because our Rhode Island Reds were just bullying on her. So while they're nice to us and we can pet them and love on them, they are not nice to other birds. Oh, Mr. Roo, you made an appearance.
What's he doing?
doing?
That's such a handsome bird.
It's a handsome body.
We love our rooster. And he's very nice.
He's very nice, but he's really skittish, and he doesn't let us touch him, even though I just want to squish him. He's so cute. Oh, worth noting, we did not intend on getting a rooster. When you get chicks from wherever, they should be sexed, but it was supposed to be a pullet, and it didn't develop into one. It was a rooster. And while we do live kind of like in a city, I feel like we can get away with a rooster, and we don't really necessarily have a reason for having it because our chickens don't free range or anything like that. So he's not really protecting them, but we would really like to incubate our own eggs. So that helps with that. But he's just so pretty and like he's not bothering us. So we just keep him.
Yeah. I've also noticed that somebody else in town owns chickens and they have a rooster too, so that's kind of the reason that we have kept them. Obviously if there was like noise complaints or anything like that, then we would have to go ahead and kill them, but so far that hasn't been an issue, and he's actually not as loud as most people think that roosters are. It's just every once in a while.
But we have a dog that, not our dog, but another dog in the area that barks nonstop. So we kind of just like...
I guess we should get back on topic about chicken breeds and flocks and everything. A big thing is when you're a beginner, you should definitely pick out breeds that are going to be hardy and easy to raise. That's kind of why we went with Rhode Island Reds and Buff Orpingtons. They're very, very good for all various types of weather. Especially, they're very hardy in cold weather. So if you live in a part of the country that gets a lot of snow or it gets extremely cold, I would look into getting those breeds. Actually, I didn't know it until today, but Barred Rocks are one of the most hardy cold weather breeds that you could have, along with Rhode Island Reds. So pretty happy that we ended up choosing them and that we ended up with them. Come on, Brody. Get up here.
We acquired...
Got, like, 2 birds trying to get up here on one time.
This is so chaotic and I love it. What are you doing? Go see the scary pitchfork man. This is my favorite. When it's warmer outside, I could sit out here with the chickens for hours because they will just jump on you and come hang out. And see now, the Rhode Island Red is super friendly to us, but the other birds, you're just a bully.
They all take their turns jumping up here.
Or all at once. Sometimes. I have 3 on me.
Yeah, I was about to say she's had 3 or 4 chickens on her at one time.
Hi, buddy. Yeah, something to consider with chickens too is obviously the breed, but each breed produces a certain number of eggs per year. And so depending on how many eggs you're looking for, that's something you want to consider. And then also egg color. So all of our chickens lay some variation of brown, but there are like black copper morans that have darker chocolate colored eggs. There's Easter eggers, olive eggers. There's all kinds of birds that have, you have white, brown, blue, green. Some can lay pink, chocolate. Like it just varies on the type of bird that it is. We thought we had gotten some Easter eggers, but those are not that. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, so if you're looking to build your flock around whether or not you want to sell colorful eggs to other people, then you definitely need to look at what breeds of chickens and potentially what color eggs they might lay. We didn't think that we'd want to do that at the time. We kind of entertain it now just because we think it would be fun. But other than that, it mostly comes down to the fact that we're looking for the best egg production. So we kind of went with breeds that produce the most eggs.
Yeah. I think if you are just starting out and you want like a no-brainer type of option, I would, of course, look at your climate and figure out which breeds would be best. So if you live in a colder environment, then definitely take that into consideration, or even a warmer environment, because you don't want to get a bird that's too big and fluffy that's going to get too hot in the summers where you live. We have the golden buffs, but there's also lavender Orpingtons, which are like a beautiful gray. There's all kinds of variations of Orpingtons. All in all, I think they're my favorite of all that we've raised.
I think they're probably the easiest to raise, and I also know friends who have them and
exclusively too.
Yeah, well, they've added other birds to their flock, but have specifically said that they would only ever raise buff Orpingtons again, or only add buff Orpingtons to their flock again. So it all depends. I have family that's raised only Rhode Island Reds too, so everybody has their preference of bird, and it all depends on your experiences. For us, we personally would like to get rid of our Rhode Island Reds and get a different breed. But
yeah,
like we mentioned previously, we raised all the birds together minus 4 of them, and so they all grew up and get along just fine. I mean, they still established somewhat of a pecking order, but for the most part, the birds that we integrated have definitely been left out of the pecking order comparatively to the birds that have been in. The Rhode Island Reds just have a tendency to bully the other birds a lot.
And I do think that having the rooster helps with establishing some sort of order in here. Like, there's probably a lot less drama than there could be without him, but also, like, the new birds don't love the rooster when they come in here.
No, they don't. For multiple
reasons.
We were talking about this before we started filming, but essentially when it comes to getting your birds, I would just jump into it. We talked about getting chickens for like a couple months, and then finally one weekend I said, all right, we're going to go to Tractor Supply. Now, we bought our birds from Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply doesn't necessarily always have a lot of choices. They might have limited choices. We were lucky enough to have multiple Tractor Supplies all within driving range, probably 4 or 5 different ones. Yeah. So we had a little bit more. And there's also local places too that we didn't know about prior to buying our chickens. Otherwise, we probably would have looked there too, because she wants specific birds like silkies and Polish birds and stuff like that. Whereas I look at our birds as
birds. They're giving me eggs.
Yep, eggs, meat, whatever. So
I definitely have more of an attachment to them.
Yeah, but the birds that we did choose, they were the ones that were available at Tractor Supply, so that's what we made our basis off of. And if we had our choice, and we would go ahead and change them, but not all of them. But like we said, the Rhode Island Reds, we'd probably get rid of. You could also order birds offline. They will be shipped to your local post office, and then you just have to go pick them up.
And they're like, they ship them live, so.
Yep, all the birds are shipped live, so. I will say this, don't be upset if you open up your box and they're all dead, because that is a possibility, and it does happen. But also at the same time, just be ready for that. Now, is that an everyday occurrence? No, it is not. I've known plenty of people who order birds offline, and they all come in just nice and fine. You could order a little bit extra, 1 or 2, because I will say that probably does happen a lot more than all of them
just 1
being
or 2.
expired. But 1 or 2 definitely, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So don't be upset if it does. It's not the post office's fault, I promise. It's just how it is.
It's just life.
Yep. I mean, little birds, like little baby chicks, they need their heat regulated. They need all that stuff taken care of, which we could cover in a different video. But, they're not very resilient at that age. And even when you think, you raise them to a specific age and you're like, oh, I can move them to the coop now, they could even still not be resilient then, because we had a Rhode Island Red pass away at 8 to 10 weeks after we had moved them into our chicken coop.
For no reason, too. Yep. Like, we still don't know why.
Yep. All the birds were huddled outside one night, and we came out here to check on them, and there was a dead bird inside the coop, and they wouldn't go back in until we had taken that one out. So
it was sad.
Yeah, it was sad. I mean, they were pretty much fully grown at that point. So, well, not fully grown, but they were old enough to be left to their own devices.
Oh.
Nice. One of the birds just pooped everywhere. It does seem extremely daunting at first, because you don't know if there needs to be, like, if your coop's going to be sufficient and whatnot. And I'm telling you, you literally can make the coop out of the simplest materials. Yeah. And as long as they're protected from predators, wind, rain, snow, whatever, heat, especially the sun. Like, we closed our roof in just because we didn't want the sun beating down directly on them all summer long. But if you cover those bases, you could build the coop out of pretty much any material. I mean, you could build it out of old pallets if you want.
Why are you hollering?
You could build it out of old pallets if you wanted to, old fence panels, whatever you could get your hands on, really. Try to keep it simple, and that's the biggest thing, is trying to keep it simple.
Which we can address all of that in another video. I would really like to do like a coop tour, show you what we did, maybe talk about what we would change.
There's a lot that I would change.
Because I think, we were so eager to get it done. He was like, it has to be perfect. It needs to be this way. I think he would probably go back and change a lot. So
yeah, there's a lot that I would change. Yeah. There's a lot that I would do differently.
Yeah. So we're hoping to teach you from our mistakes and things that we've learned, so that maybe it feels just a lot more tangible to accomplish. So
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it for this video. We'll definitely go into more detail about how to raise chicks. We'll also show you our process in the spring, because we would like to get more.
I think when we get more, we're going to do meat birds. So
we'll definitely have some content.
You guys will have to join us on that. We don't have any experience, so
you'll be learning with us.
Yeah, you'll be learning with us.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
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 Until next time.